everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Nerdy Up North podcast, the Nerdy Podcast hosted by two Northern nerds. I'm one of your hosts, Sam.
And I'm the other host, Paul.
And today there's no top five, there's no list, there's no anxiety, there's no pressure.
Yeah, I think after last week, yeah, it was a bit too stressful trying to think of something I was guilty of when I wasn't really guilty. I was even talking to friends afterwards saying, yeah, I love Grease, so don't give a fuck.
I ain't scared. Nope, this week we're doing a review of Black Widow.
Yep.
Because it came out eventually, and now we're going to do our thoughts on Black Widow.
Yep.
So just before we get into the review, I just want to say that it's just, I don't want to say it, but I want to tell you, Black Widow scored 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is fair. And it was directed by Kate Shortland, and screenplay was done by Eric Pearson. So directed by a woman.
Oh,
I know.
That 80. This is going to probably show how my feelings towards this film goes. I'm surprised by that score.
Really?
Very, very surprised. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get this out of the way with then, because this will help where the conversation goes to. Out of 5. What are you scoring it?
2.
Wow! Oh my God, I was going to go with 4.
Yeah, I've put on the same level as Iron Man 3, even probably Thor Dark Worlds standard. I had so much expectation for the film. Like, say, I love the characters. Like, Scarlett Johansson's never been poor as Natasha, and like say she's been a linchpin in a lot of the things, and like say even in Infinity War and Endgame she was one of the standout performers in that, but it didn't. I probably would have felt, I know it's going to sound really weird, but I would have probably liked the film more if it came out after Civil War, because
yeah, because it follows directly on from, so the timeline is literally straight after Civil War, when Natasha betrayed the Sokovia Accords, and Ross is on the hunt for her. I actually wrote in my notes that I felt, and I actually enjoyed the film, but not for the reasons that I probably should have. I thought Natasha was almost a secondary character. She wasn't. I don't feel like it was her film.
Yeah.
I think she was secondary because there was more people that stood out over her, and that shouldn't have been the case.
Yeah.
I thought David Harbour was phenomenal as the Red Guardian.
Oh,
I think amazing.
Yeah, I think that there's tidbits he said, and that was mentioned during that's going to lead it to quite a few interesting things. And I know as well, like I say, we're going to discuss Black Widow, but after this as well, we're going to discuss Loki. So I think, again, without just if you're watching this as well, there's going to be a fuck ton of spoilers, so I do apologise. So
if you're not, that pretty much when you say you're doing a Black Widow review, your brain should go, I shouldn't listen to this if I've not seen it, because we are going to go into it. But I say 4 out of 5 because I thought there was some absolute standout moments, but not from her, which was pretty disappointing.
I couldn't get invested in it because I know her fate.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Yeah. It's the same with, like, say, with other, like, I know with me and you have different views on, say, Captain America: First Avenger. I couldn't get too invested because you know what the outcome's going to be. You know, there's no danger because she's in future films after this. With it being a prequel, that's what took us out of the film a little bit more than probably seen, because I was wanting a little bit more from it. But I get that. I think with Captain America: The First Avenger, the reason why I like it so much, and I know that Cap gets frozen and you know that he comes back, but you have to know who he is in order to understand the struggle when he comes out. And I like the fact that we got to see that side of it. But my one worry with Natasha's film was that they were going to find a way to bring her back. And I've been watching a lot of videos this morning just to try and get into the thought, to
start thinking of things, because I do, like, I watched it on Tuesday, but I've watched so many things since then that my brain can't, like, so I have to go over some things. And I was worried that we're gonna find a way to bring her back, which would have totally ruined for all of us and taken away from us what we felt at the end of Endgame. And the director said there was going to be, the end credit scene wasn't going to be what it was. So the end credit scene, you see Yelena going to Natasha's grave, and they have this kind of calling, like a whistle that they do to each other. It's trying, like, just to make, like, I think that, like, they're there. And she does the whistle and kind of waits to see if she, you know, if it comes back. And apparently the director said she was going to put it in. That was it. Film finished. And that, you know what I mean? That would have. I would have been writing angry letters in, like, say, to Disney with that. But I can understand why they don't want to let her go, because, like I say, she is money. Like, say, and Disney and Marvel are in the money-making business. But, like, as you said, standout performers like David Harbour from Stranger Things as well. I don't think I've ever seen him other than Hellboy, where, well, he wasn't bad in Hellboy, but the film was bad. Where he's been, but he was, like, say, one of the standout things. Like, even Raquel Weisz as well, absolutely outstanding. Scarlett Johansson was a bit more emotional than we've seen in other Marvel films, which was a good thing. Definitely. It fits because it was, you know, it's all about a family with Natasha. There's two things that's going on in her head: her family, and her ledger, her red ledger, and this, and that's like, and so when to see our family, that kind of like will always bring in her family will always bring the emotion out of her. But going on to David Harbour, Alexei, I can't say his surname, I'm sorry, but the red, wow, that prison scene where he's bragging about fighting Captain America, that was just brilliant.
Touching on that though, because that's an element I think they're going to do a callback to, because he mentioned later on, does Cap, like, to Natasha, does he talk about us? So we don't know what Captain America's been up to or happened when he went back in time. So and he's been around, so clearly he has. So it's either going to be a callback to what good old Steve's been, because I know there's been talk of Chris Evans come back into the Marvel world secretly, or not so secretly. So are we going to see, like, an 80s Cap versus Red Guardian, which would be quite interesting?
I would pay money for that.
Or is it because of, like, say, what we're going to discuss later with Loki and timeline splits and multiverses and stuff like that? Has that got an element to play in it as well? Because I know this was meant to come out a lot longer before then. So things, like I say, have changed. We don't know what rewrites or what reshoots was put in to mess with us. But that was a quite interesting take, because I thought, as you said, when he said the prison scene, I thought he was just talking shit. And then he got called out for talking shit. But when he talked to Natasha later on and said, has he mentioned us? I was like, right,
there's something there, isn't there? Because if he was lying, he would have just stayed lying. Do you know what I mean? He wouldn't have took that lie to someone who actually knows him. So I thought exactly the same thing. I just thought his delivery, the way that he was, I was just I was just amazed. But you know, he said he fought Captain America. Could it not have just been another super soldier? We now know from Falcon and the Winter Soldier that there was more super soldiers than Steve Rogers. So could it not have been?
That's what I thought. But with him doing the callback, saying, "Does he talk to us?" So that, like, him knowing the relationship that Natasha has with Steve, that could only be the, like I say, well, in my head, again, I could be wrong. Marvel flips the script on us so many times. But also as well, another standout, well, there was 3 standout performances. Like, I know Scarlett was a little bit toned back in this one, but Raquel Weisz, I could watch her in anything. Like, see, I'm still in love with her from Constantine, but she was so motherly as well.
And mesmerizing.
Mm-hmm.
She was so interesting. Like, I wanted to hear more from her, and I want to see, because she is, I'm not saying the original, but she is also a Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
And come on, and there's so many stories and you could get from her, and we only got, she's not even like, when I looked at the cast list, she's right the way down the bottom.
Yeah.
Because she isn't really in it that much.
No, but
and I was a bit disappointed.
But her and Natasha's relationship was so telling. Like, say, even that time in the barn, I know, like, we're skipping huge chunks of the films here, but that time in the barn was, like, say, quite in. And this is coming from someone that didn't like the film as well. So I do appreciate that there is elements in it, and, like, say, but even them two, the standout to me was Florence Pugh as Yelena. Her accent as well, because I know we're going to go on to it. There was some dodgy fucking accents in this film, but her accent, the only thing was good, but the only thing that did confuse is because when she was a young kid in America, she didn't have a Russian accent. She was quite, like, say, American twang. So I don't know how the Russian accent came in as strong, but
so did Alexei, so did Milena as well. They all had an American accent. The likelihood is they just trained them that way.
But she didn't know she wasn't an American.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You don't know what the Red Room does to them.
True.
That's the thing. And the getting to see the Red Room was fascinating. But Yelena, I say this to Anne the minute she came on screen, and we could see what she could do. I was like, we need to see more of this girl. And we know we're going to see more of that thanks to the final credit scene. But she was just absolutely astounding. She taught every scene she was in with Scarlett. She took it away from her.
Yeah,
she was an absolute outstanding Black Widow, because they all are Black Widows.
Yeah.
One character who wasn't a standout, kind of very much secondary, but I don't know. I didn't know this until I looked into it, so I'm not going to know. I'm not going to sure if anyone else knows it. But Rick Mason, Black Widow's little go-to guy for all of our bits and pieces.
All right, yeah, I've seen him in loads of British things, but I've not really noticed.
It's not the actor; it's the character. So Rick Mason is the son of Tinker. I think I might be getting that wrong. From Spider-Man.
Right, okay.
You know, and if you watch Spider-Man Homecoming with the Vulture, his little tech crew, the guy who's from Orange is the New Black, played Kyle, and that's him.
All right.
They are related in the comics.
Yeah.
But don't know how that's going to work here. I didn't know that. I thought that was quite interesting because there's a connection between the two people. They are technically related. Ray Winston.
Oh, God. No, I was just going to, before I started laying into Ray Winston, I was just going to mention, because Marvel don't do anything by chance. Like I say, even...
They don't do anything by mistake. It's all, like I say,
preempted. Like, say, even Donald Glover's appearance as potentially the Prowler and things. So that's leading up to Miles Morales, apparently. But again... exciting times ahead, but yes, we'll come to the bit that totally, like, say, as soon as it happened, I tapped out of the film. Ray Winston's accent. What the fuck was that? Oh, please. Was it South African? Was he Dutch? Or was he a Cockney in all of? But Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. I know I don't normally get this bad, but I got physically angry watching this film every time he talked. And
why couldn't they have just kept it as the Cockney accent? That is more sinister. Like, regardless of the fact he's from Russia, just let him do his Cockney accent. It is perfect for him. Like, and it would have been perfect for that character because he was a dodgy dealer kind of thing. But yeah, your rage is the same rage I get when I listen to Kathy Burke in American Horror Story, because her accents in that are absolutely horrendous.
But I was texting Sean during it, going, "What is he doing?" And he was just laughing his head off, going, saying, because then he watched it the day after. He went, "I totally understand why you hate this."
Yeah.
And the biggest anticlimactic part of it as well was Taskmaster. Such an interesting character and so many possibilities. Yeah. And as soon as you saw Natasha's backstory, like how she got into S.H.I.E.L.D. by blowing up his daughter accidentally, you went, that's nailed on, going to be Taskmaster. And Marvel don't do that. They don't play the obvious game, and everything. This is why I say I couldn't get on board with this film as much. Everything that happened was so predictable.
Yeah,
you knew who was going to turn on who. You knew what. There was no flipping, or like even the end credit scenes. They spoiled it a little bit because they told us that I've got a name now. Lady Hyde was going to be in it because they told us that after Winter Sun that they said that wasn't going to be her first appearance, so you knew she was going to make an appearance in there. The only thing I was surprised at, and again, because if you type in Black Widow on the cast, I don't know if you noticed this, there's a certain person that actually appears in the cast listing, but he's not in the film.
Who?
Robert Downey Jr.
Yes, right. I watched that. There was another thing that I watched this morning. So he was, there was rumours that he was meant to, this was when, way before it got put back. So there was rumours while it was in production that Robert Downey Jr. would be returning as Iron Man for this film. But they never said what it was for. Was it going to be a flash? There's a video on YouTube actually telling you everything that was cut out. Because the trailer and the film do not marry up with each other. No. If you watch the trailer and then watch the film, they don't marry up. So there's a lot that's been taken out. That
happens a lot. Like, say, Marvel, that's where Marvel do the smoke and mirrors type thing. Look over here, we'll do this. Like, Avengers was such a big one, like having characters that weren't even in the trailer just reappear. And, like, say, Infinity War, the big one where they had the Hulk showing up in the final battle when...
Running.
Yeah.
And he wasn't in it.
Wasn't in it. But again, I don't mind that. That's fine. But like, see, what I heard was apparently this was like the whole beginning of Black Widow was changed because apparently it was going to be set exactly after the big battle, and Tony Stark. That's where Robert Downey Jr. was supposed to be saying goodbye, and like say, Natasha was skulking off and stuff. But I know they changed it this time. They had General Ross coming in, making a tit about himself as he does
again.
But it's nailed on. I think the next Avengers film isn't going to be Avengers. We're going to either get two ones for the price of one. This time it's going to be the Thunderbolts, which has to happen.
That's
now.
Obvious. Isn't obvious now.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. Especially with like the Abomination going to be in Shang-Chi as well. But the Young Avengers, I think that's going to be the next, because I don't think we're going to get an actual Avengers film until maybe like Marvel. I know that Marvel never say call it a day, but it'll have to be like an end. They can't just keep going. So the last one probably, I think that'll be a fitting. Yeah. But yeah, I know there's a lot of positives in the film, but it's one. I think it's one of them where I wanted to like it. But again, it was a film that came out that if they didn't release it, I wouldn't have been bothered.
I get what you mean. I do. Now I've seen it, but obviously the lead. I think it's just because it's kind of been teased on us for nearly 18 months.
Yeah.
You know, we were meant to get this 18 months ago, so yeah, I had to watch it, but I totally understand where you're coming from. I give it the 4 out of 5, but it wasn't for her.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It was for the other elements.
I don't feel it was her film at all. There was one thing that I did pick up this morning that I found very interesting was talk of X-Men. It's very minor. It's what Melina says that girls, and this is I think word for word, girls have passed through the program, but only if they had genetic potential.
Right. Okay.
And that could be because they also use the same phrasing in Winter Soldier when they refer to the twins, because at the time they couldn't say mutants.
Yeah. No, I remember that. Yeah, because they were called the Miracles or something, didn't they? But no, but no, I'm way wrong with that one, but I can't remember.
They worded it to where it wasn't mutants, but it was genetically different, and she did exactly the same. But it was only a minor thing, and it's like, could we have had potential X-Men in there? I mean, the thing is, Loki has changed everything. So this doesn't even feel worth it anymore because it means nothing.
No. But that's the thing. If, for example, if this came out instead of Captain Marvel, I probably would have enjoyed it more. Like, say, because
really?
Oh, because in the timescale, because what Marvel were trying to do was get the first female first female superhero, showcasing womanhood and thing.
Yeah.
This would have been the perfect foil, and it would have fit nicely within the films. But I know they needed Captain Marvel for the Avengers, but delay it by a year. Delay it, fit this in if you want this in so bad, rather than saying, because it felt like an afterthought. It felt like saying, Scarlett, you've done really well. You've helped us out. Here's your pay for what you've done.
Not everything. I get that, and I actually wrote a full article on this. Now, I am a member of the Carol, a very proud member of the Carol Corps. I love Captain Marvel as a character, and I was buzzing my tits off when she was getting her own film. But in my eyes at the time, she was getting it over Black Widow, and I thought that character has paid its dues since Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
And has made such a place for herself amongst all these men, and she is an afterthought in Marvel's eyes because they're going to give the first female Marvel film to Captain Marvel. And from even me as a Captain Marvel fan, I thought that was an absolute kick in the face for the character, for Scarlett, because it was we need to bring her in, but you didn't. We didn't need that Captain Marvel film when it was. At the end of Infinity War, the picture of her star appears on his pager. If you knew who it was from that, why did we need a film to show her who she was? Because when she walks into the Avengers headquarters, she is wearing her outfit with the star on it. You didn't need the film to explain where she's been or who she was, because by the time she gets to the Avengers headquarters, that star from that pager is on her outfit. And that would have made it more intriguing as to who this person was. But because you've already seen the film in the first place, it takes the intrigue and the interest away from it.
Case in point, how Marvel have brought Spider-Man into the fair, because I know everyone likes to say the backstory, but we don't need to see Uncle Ben dying. We don't need to see Peter getting bit. We've seen that. And how they brought him in already as a full-fledged, well, as a teenager, but with these powers, it worked so much better. It was more of a surprise. It meant more, I think. Yeah. That's.
I know Carol's not for just movie fans. She's not a big, she's not a known character for just movie fans. But we're not stupid. You know, people are going to remember. There's a reason you're looking at that pager for as long as you are, and then that star appears. And then you see her in her outfit with the star on the front. People are not stupid. They would put together that is the same thing. And all she needed to do was the same speech she did to them when Rhodey's getting in her face saying, you know, where have you been? And she says, there's more people out there. There's more other universes out there.
That don't have
you guys.
Yeah.
We didn't need the full story. And what I generally don't mind the Captain Marvel film. I don't. But what I didn't like was her actual origin story, because it's not Carol's story. That's not Carol's story. She was never part of a Kree army. Like I didn't like that aspect of it. I don't know. I'm getting myself all frustrated.
I have to, listeners, if you're watching as well, we are in baking heat in the northeast. We're not used to this, so
no, we're not. We're like, for any Americans listening, to give you some perspective, if you have seen Game of Thrones, we are Winterfell. We're always cold, it's always raining, it's always miserable. But the minute it's like dawn, and it is so hot.
Yes.
So hot.
So if we seem a bit grumpy as well, that might be one of the things. But yes, going back to, like I say, the Black Widow aspect, because I know, like I say, it's strange because I think, like I say, my disappointment as well is because we've been promised this film for over a bloody year, and they could have released it in so many different ways, because I know they wanted to make the cinema things, but apparently when looking at it, they made the money back off Disney Plus alone. Again, I don't like to criticize companies or people that are doing well, but £20 just for one day's release, and you don't even get to watch it after that. I know I can understand in parts where if it's a family going, they can save money on tickets or popcorn and stuff.
Yeah,
but
totally get that.
Overall price you're paying for a service and a monthly thing anyway. Jesus Christ, I was surprised at that.
No, I totally get that. And I always ask this to answer, if they asked us to pay for it, I'd watch it, because I was getting to the point where I just needed to see it. And then I found out the price and I went, well, what the hell? Why would I pay £20 to watch it on Disney Plus that I already give them money for, when I can go to the cinema and watch it for a £5?
Yep.
It doesn't make no sense to me. But if it was a case of they did this straight away, like when it was meant to be released, I probably would have bit the bullet and paid the £20. I probably would have. And
going back as well, the whole Taskmaster element, because again, I've heard rumours that the Taskmaster is going to be reappearing in the next Deadpool film as well, which again would be interesting, but they made it an interesting character so bland with the reveal, because even after the reveal, there was no personality, or I know there was nothing there. There was no change.
No, and I want to get into this, and this bit's going to go a little bit serious. So the Taskmaster, as you know, isn't Draco's daughter at all in the comics. I'm trying to find his actual name because I forgot to write it down. Oh my God, what's his name?
No, but in because I know we like to predict and see what's going to happen. That was what I thought was going to be Raquel Weisz's character before I saw the film. That was my call, because I thought it was going to be someone close to Scarlet, but
I would have been interested. That would have probably been more interesting than being Draco's daughter.
Yeah.
But the proper character from the comics he's called Tony Masters. The characteristics of the character from comic to what you see is spot on. That forget the reveal, but how he is spot on, right? The cretins of the internet have taken it upon themselves to display their disgust with the reveal by sending Kate Shortland, death threats.
Wow.
Because they changed the character from Tony Masters to Draco's daughter. I'm sorry, but who the fuck do these people think they are? Like death threats.
It's fanboys for you, though, isn't it? That's the problem.
It's not. This is not serious at all. There is no reason to send a fucking woman death threats because you didn't get what you wanted out of that character. To be honest, if it revealed it to be Tony Masters and not Draco's daughter, would have a lot of us given a shit?
I always would have went, why? Because it wouldn't have made any difference to the storyline. But
you probably just would have went, who? Because it's somebody we don't know. No. I understand the reveal is it's very predictable.
So very predictable. That was my problem. That was always my problem. Again, I would have laughed me out if it was someone like say, a clone version of Wade Wilson. That would have been funny. But
that'd been brilliant. That'd have been brilliant.
But like as I said, as you go back, no one should be getting death threats for any type of performance. I know going back to Captain America and Winter Soldier, that the guy who played the new Captain America done performance so well that he was hated so much he got death threats. But again, get over yourselves. It's a comic book. It's a film. It's not real life.
Serious. Yeah, it's not serious. Nobody deserves to have that amount of on them. But like even if they revealed it to be Tony Masters, majority of the viewing public are not going to know who that is. It's not going to make an impact. I get where they were trying to go with it. To be honest, if we didn't see who was behind the mask, that character is so interesting, so deadly, so dangerous. The fact that the amount of times me and Anthony going, oh my God, he's Hawkeye. Oh my God, it's Black Panther. Like, it was amazing to watch it. But just because you didn't get what you wanted, you feel it's okay to send someone death threats. It's absolutely ridiculous. I just cannot get my head around it at all.
No.
Absolute cretins, man.
But yeah, but it's like I say, it's modern world. It's the internet, trolls as you see. But like I say, try and move through the shade and see what goes on. But yes, the whole film overall, would I watch it again? I probably would if I was watching the full films.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't watch it in the release order because it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work in the slightest.
No, I don't. I like to watch it as they came out. Like, you know, I like to go from Iron Man 1, right? The amount of times I've watched Endgames, man, is just, it's starting to get stupid now. Like, how much punishment do I need to put myself through? But I do. I have this plan, always have the plan. I'm going to watch it, not in chronological order where it's like in the timeline, but just from start to finish. Because Disney Plus is great. They've got the timeline order, then they've just got the release order.
Yeah.
And I get from Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm going straight to Endgame. I'm missing it all out and going straight to Endgame.
The only thing as well, because with every Marvel film, there's an after credits scene, which we've talked about as well. This one didn't make as much sense as the others, because I know what they've done. I know why they're doing it, but to go that way, to say, because you've give, like say, Natasha's sister a big change. She's out of that, being controlled and manipulated, then going straight back into being manipulated again, to be sent after Barton, saying, "Oh, do you want to go after your sister's killer?" Well, no, he didn't fucking kill her. He tried everything he could to save her. So that's bullshit 1-on-1.
Yeah, it is. But look at who we're dealing with. It's and look at what she's probably already in that we don't know about. I actually thought, so when we saw her going to the grave, I says to Anth, swear to God, if Samuel L. Jackson comes around the corner and tries to initiate this girl into the Young Avengers, I will lose my absolute shit. But what we got was Valentina coming to her, and it wasn't. And I thought, oh my God, it is. Paul was right. This is it. And it wasn't a Tony Stark moment. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like the beginning of the end of Iron Man when Samuel L. Jackson. Nick Fury comes out and gets Tony to join the Avengers program. I was like, oh my God, it's going to be, you couldn't come join the Thunderbolts program, but no, it sounds like she's already in it.
Yep. No, but the target though, Barton. I know they're selling this TV show, so I think this has been added in after, like say, as an afterthought as well.
Yeah, what I personally think is that Barton's pissed off a lot of people when he was in his Ronan character, that the Thunderbolts are just wanting to take him out and going to use that as an excuse to take Barton out, and that's what we're going to see in Clint's in the Hawkeye TV program. I think obviously we know as viewers that he did everything he could to save her, but to somebody who wasn't there, you could use that as a massive manipulation tool. And this woman is not a good woman. She's not a good person. They're not good people. So she's obviously going to use a manipulation factor to get Yolanda to do what she wants her to do. And I think Barton's pissed a lot of people off in his little escapade after he lost his family. That we only saw a fraction of it. I am not a massive Clint fan.
I don't think he's going to be making it out of this season, to be honest. Because I know that kicks they're eyeing up Katie Bishop now, aren't they? So
yeah, I mean, this is why I think you're right with the Young Avengers, because now we've got another version of Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Miles Morales is coming into it, and Miss Marvel, who is another Young Avenger, she's in it, and we know that Kate Bishop's going to be in Hawkeye.
And I've seen Kid Loki as well.
Oh yes, yes. So we know we can see where it's going. I just think it's going to be. I think it's going to be like a slow progression to boot all the older people out.
Yeah.
To bring the younger crew in, to then at some point having to need the older crew. I don't think Clint's going anywhere, but I think she will be the perfect reason for him to give in, because he doesn't need to do what he does anymore. He's not an Avenger.
Yeah, because just thinking back as well, because they've recast Ant-Man's daughter as well, because she's going to be playing a bigger role going forward.
You got Cassie Lang in it as well, so there you go. It's perfectly coming together. Because
they've cast the blonde lass out of that new Freaky film, the serial killer Freaky Friday. She was in Supernatural for a few episodes as Castiel's daughter. I can't remember her name, but she's recently been recast as Cassie Lang. So
cool, and that's cool. Just going back to Black Widow and Barton, I loved the fact that they went back to Budapest and we got to know what they actually did there. I love that aspect.
I did think it was good that they tied it up, but I wouldn't have been sad if I didn't know, because it would have been that little in-joke that was always quite... yeah, because it was like, that would have been good. I would have been happy with that, but no, I'm going to say it was nice to get a bit of closure. Nice. And again, going back to the most predictable and what you thought was going to happen when you knew the line and word that Natasha was going to use as soon as...
Thank you for your cooperation.
Exactly. So you knew as soon as she was going to be in the office, there was going to be some kind of manipulation. Yeah. And you knew she was never going to be the vulnerable one as well, because she is the ultimate assassin, a stroke spy. But good... Like I keep jumping from point to point now because you keep saying stuff and things pop in my head.
I know.
With Samuel L. Jackson, I knew he wasn't going to be making an appearance. The reason being, he's in space with the Skrulls still.
Touche. Yes, I just thought that would have been a perfect moment. It was a different character, a different organization that was coming for Yelena. But also, her watching Moonraker was an absolute massive foreshadowing of where the Red Room was.
Yeah.
Massive, because if you know Moonraker, he goes to a secret space thingy in the sky, and that's where the bloody Red Room was.
But yeah, I think it was a film of foreshadowing. That's the only thing I can see. It was worse than RuPaul's Drag Race, when it's foreshadowing who's going to be kicked out, and you know throughout the episodes.
Oh, ouch!
Yeah, the shade of it all. Sorry, the shade of it all. But yes, no, wasn't the biggest fan. Again, I think it's more disappointing. It probably is better than a 2-star film. I'm probably being a bit overly harsh, but I think the length of time we have waited for it, I wanted it to be better than what we got.
It's been a wait, and I think it got to the point with me that I just wanted to see it. But I wrote a massive article about Black Widow and how I felt she was absolutely shafted in not being the first woman to have her own. Because now there's so many. Like there's going to be Miss Marvel, Jennifer Waters is She-Hulk.
Which I'm looking forward to that. Like the sounds of that.
She is one of my favorites. There is a run that came out in 2012 and 2014 and it got cancelled. It got one series and it got cancelled, and the uproar because of it. Because you know why? It was all to do with our work. It wasn't a superhero aspect. It was more to do with and it was fantastic. But if you want a really good Black Widow comic, I cannot recommend Nathan Edmondson's 2014's The Finely Woven Thread. That is giving you Natasha wiping away, because like I said with Natasha, there's one or two things: it's family or a ledger, and this is a ledger. She's trying to right her wrongs while also being an Avenger, while also trying to actually live a life, and it's so brilliantly done.
That again, you mentioning a certain word there just jumped something straight back. And one of the things I did actually enjoy, it's probably the first film of the Marvel thing where people are referring to her as an Avenger, as all the way through. Like they made it a big deal, and I enjoyed that. Yeah, so no, just saying that. I know it sounds weird saying Avenger, but that was a key thing where people saw Natasha as a superhero, and now she's got no special powers. She's just a bit better than everyone else. But
she really is. She really is a lot better than everybody else. But the majority of this story does come from another comic book, Black Widow's Deadly Origins. It's almost similar to the story that they've used, obviously different to fit within the MCU. I've never read it, but Finely Woven Thread is absolutely unreal. The artwork in it is beautiful. The reds that they use throughout, it's like the reds and the whites. Oh, it's stunning. Such a good read. I probably will not be watching this for a very long time. I get where you're coming from. I said this to Carolyn, and when I saw Carolyn yesterday, I was like, David Harbour, phenomenal.
Yeah,
absolutely phenomenal. I could have watched him for the 2.5 hours. That could have been his film, and I would have been happy with it. It could have been called Red Guardian, and I would be buzzing with it. Florence Pugh as Yelena was absolutely unreal. Rachel Weisz was absolutely brilliant, so interesting, and I'm devastated we didn't get to see more and hear more from her. And then you've got Scarlett, who just felt like she was just fit into it because it has her name on it.
Yeah, I have heard rumours as well that David and Rachel Weisz is going to be returning a lot sooner than we expect. So we are going to be seeing apparently more because of the reactions that they have been getting from this film. But like I say, he was the standout, and they were quite believable as a family, non-family as well. Because
and I do think there's something there between them two. I think that was very real, and that was the whole point throughout the film was Florence, like Yelena's character, saw that as that was real to her, and to Natasha it wasn't. Because she was a bit older, she knew how fake it was. You even saw the skills that she had as a child.
I got a different. Yeah, I think it was real for Natasha as well. Just she got so good at hiding that part of it. Because when you see her as that little girl, and when they try and take her little sister away, and she pulls a gun on them, and in that airport scene, that was brutal, and that was intense and real. So I think, because as you said, Natasha is trained to hide most of her emotions. You never really saw her show any emotions until what was it? Endgame? Because even in Infinity War, she was like because you saw her tired and done.
She was broken. She was absolutely broken. It was the first time that you saw her cry, properly, as in not a fake one, not one where she was like trying to manipulate anybody. It was a proper cry, and she was just absolutely broken. And you knew out of the two of them who was going to sacrifice their life, because that's all that they would be. That's she said it herself. It's been leading up to this moment. I just felt that she was very good at hiding it, but she almost made herself believe she wasn't real, so therefore I believed it wasn't real. But Yelena is
couldn't hide it type thing. It was
she couldn't. She was too emotional over it. The little girl though who played Yelena in the beginning bit, is the same little girl from Doctor Sleep and House on Haunted Hill. I think that little girl has such a future in films. She is absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal little actress.
My last little thing I want to say about Black Widow, though, they did the best callback that I never thought. I was amazed when I saw it and when I saw the pictures afterwards, and it was something so simple but so clever, and it shows how much Yelena meant to Natasha, the vest, because she wore that vest in Infinity War when on the battlefield.
Oh my God, she did!
Yeah.
The vest with the pockets.
Yeah.
It's got so many pockets.
Yes, it's just a nice little interplay between what sisters would be like, as you know, with your sister and stuff. And then when she gives her, when she gives her the vest, and then I didn't notice it till I saw a picture online saying Natasha was wearing Yelena's vest during Infinity War during the battle scene. So I was like, shit. So it shows that like they've called it back just to show that she does mean a lot to Natasha, which I thought was a really quite sweet note to end on.
Wow, that has changed a little few things for me. Overall, I enjoyed it. Probably not for the reasons I should have. I can't be overcritical of anything Marvel do. Can't, because I know fine well they'll come back as in the arse later on. Because as Marvel don't do anything by accident. Yeah. There'll be a chance that something from what we didn't like of it will be a callback later on of something we loved. Do you know what I mean? It's just Marvel's never-ending circle of we're gonna fuck with your mind.
No, that's the thing though with Marvel. They always do leave things open, but because I quite like it how they always advance the story. Like I say, there's no wasted motion. This one to me felt like a little bit of wasted motion, like going back rather than going forward. But again, that's just me being overcritical and picky because, like I say, we expect more, shall we say? But that's my little tidbit.
Yeah, they've definitely ruined us with the last part of the Infinity Saga. We were absolutely ruined as viewers because that is some cinematic brilliance of what they did there. And I get what you mean. It's not progressing the story forward because we're in the past. We know her fate, but I am so glad she didn't come back because everything I felt from Endgame when she went would have been taken away from us, and it would have been for nothing. Yeah. So I'm kind of pleased of that. I think we should leave it there. I have nothing more to add to this. To be honest, my notes were very, very little because I knew because the fact that she wasn't really, it just didn't feel like her film for me. I thought I could. Yeah. I'll talk about what really made the film for us.
Talk from the heart. That's always the thing. But yeah, it's one of them things. Like I'll always be a comic book fan, and anything you put in front of us, I will watch. But it didn't fit in nicely. I know films shouldn't. I've been a DC fan. Fuck, nothing fits in nicely anymore. But,
do you not think though, if you might have felt a bit different if it came out when it did?
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Because then we would have had Shang-Chi straight afterwards, and we would have had, new Spider-Man, the Eternals. The story, all you're getting is just the starting point of what we know is going to go into the next bit. So, I think if it came out...
Yeah, and this is going to be a good segue as well, because I think we've been spoilt a little bit as well with Marvel TV shows that's been coming out.
Well,
because they have been like giving us more, if that makes sense. So moving on to our next thing we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we're going straight into it.
Yeah, we might as well. I know, like I say, we normally do our top fives, but we thought we'll try and keep up with what's been talked about. So what we'll probably do with this podcast, we might even do it in two parts. So we'll have the Black Widow one, and now we'll discuss
going into Loki. Pew, 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 pew. Can't wait for this. Can't wait for this.
Now, talking about expectations for a TV show, because I think from the start, I think there was a picture or a thing that came out when Loki was brought out, was basically 10 years ago, Marvel took a punt with two unknown actors for two big roles in the Marvel universe. One was Tom Hiddleston and one Chris Hemsworth. And the newspaper article is in Marvel do big gamble. Will it pay off? Has it paid off? Fuck yeah, because Loki has been one of the best characters in the MCU. He's been the most interesting, most diverse, and he's like one of these people that you shouldn't like, but you end up cheering for. And this was the perfect foil for him. And before I give you my ratings and stuff, how did you feel about it?
Well, before I get into how I feel about it, would you like to know the Rotten Tomatoes score of the program?
Okay, go for it.
92%.
Should be higher.
92%. I am not going to use his name as frequently as what I should to talk about him, because I absolutely despise the way my northern accent says the name Loki. I hate it. It sets my teeth on edge whenever just me, nobody else, but when I hear myself say Loki, I absolutely, it sets me on edge. I absolutely loved this TV series. It was emotionally on par with WandaVision. It had me absolutely gripped. It gave me some characters and some that I never thought I'd fall in love with. And we'll get into that in a bit, because I'll be jumping straight ahead of myself. But it also left me with a lot of questions and a lot of confusion, because there was a lot to take in. Yeah. Even though it was simply done, like it wasn't hard, there still was a lot to, like, the Nexus events, variants. I got a bit lost at some points, but that did not take me away from the program.
Certainly. And you think, like, see, I know we've had other ones, but this one was only 6 episodes. So I know WandaVision was a little bit longer. I think Winter Soldier was 6 as well. Like I say, I fell in love with WandaVision. It was a journey. Like I say, it was hard. This was every episode you were gripped. There was something different. There was something like, it was never boring. And it was not the premise I was expecting. Because when I watched it, I was expecting something like Quantum Leap. I know it's really ridiculous.
No, I totally get it. But because because they never told us about variants of this character, that we are thinking that, our Loki is the one who's going to be doing all this time traveling, when it's not the case at all. And I've absolutely loved the progression of the character. From his transformation from this absolute weed of a villain, because he wasn't the greatest.
Because if you think about it, he hasn't been through Ragnarok, he hasn't been through Dark. I think it's basically at the end of New York, Avengers Assemble. That's the Loki we've got at the start of this. So he's not.
Who is looking for his glorious purpose.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, I know they kind of touched on that when he was sitting. Is it? Because I always get his name mixed up with Owen Wilson's character. Was it Morpheus or Morbius?
I kept calling him Morpheus, and that's it's Morbius.
Yeah, that's I kept doing the same. Asked that when they sat down with him and showed him everything that happens, and when you saw what happened to his mother Frida, and that was well done, and the whole issue with him getting kicked in the balls for about 10 hours straight was hilarious. But his journey from being the dick that we had at the end of Avengers to basically at the end of Loki, because I know there was a few people I had a few arguments with who said, well, the film was Loki and he didn't get a great thing at ending. I went, wait there, none of the other shows are getting a second season. Loki's getting a second season. That
was huge.
This is leading what we've been waiting for. We've been asking the question since we heard Multiverse of Madness, how we are getting the multiverse. We have found that out during this show, and the way they've done it has been perfect. And the way that implemented at the end, was done so delicately and so lightly that you didn't even notice it. That was the brilliant part.
No, you didn't at all. And you don't. Do you know the fact that at the end? I know we're gonna jump backwards and forwards, and I'm sorry, but the end scene where the what's he called? He who remains, who we'll get into in a bit. When he who remains gives him the option, take the throne or let the multiverse happen. And in her head, the fact that because he knows what that means, letting the multiverse happen. Because if you picked up on it, Miss Minutes kept telling them over and over again what would happen if that happened. But in her head, all she can think of is he just wants his throne.
Yeah.
But that's not Loki anymore.
No.
That's not who he is.
Yeah.
She helped him to realize a bigger picture where it's not about him, because he always made it about him.
But wasn't that the whole Nexus event when they touched hands? That was like the big spark that Loki realized it wasn't about him anymore. And again, I know we'll probably touch on the relationship, but that was, and it took us a little bit to get my head round, but again, I got there. And falling in love with himself makes perfect sense. But
when they kissed, I went, and is that right? Should we be liking that? I'm kind of digging it, but I really don't know if I should be.
It was a little bit confusing, but again, if you think about Loki as a character, it made perfect sense that the only person he truly would love is himself. Which I thought she was brilliant as well. The actress who
phenomenal.
Sylvie. I say we'll start rather than keep jumping. We'll try and make it a bit more uniform. Like say when Loki first is introduced, like say if he's introduced to the time variant. What was it called? The time TVA. The time variant. Associate. I can't remember what it stood for now.
I just kept calling it TVA.
TVA. But the whole premise where he was going through indoctrinated and getting checked out, and the little in-jokes as well, saying, oh, if you go through this and you're a robot, you'll be eviscerated. And he's like, what happens if I'm a robot? What if I don't know? And he's sitting there with bated breath to say, is he going to be a robot? Then he's happy that he's not. And he gets zapped in. But it was all done very cleverly. I've still got ideas and theories about, because one thing I did love about this, you don't get all the answers, because I still think, because when they start going on to all the different variants and you find out all the variants are basic multiverse versions of the same character just doing different things, and they're trying to get rid of ones that they deem as messing up the sacred timeline. But I still think Mobius is a Howard Stark variant.
Oh wow! Wow. Okay, mind blow. Did not put that. That's
because he looks a little bit like him, but not too much. But he's clever and he's intelligent. He works things out. So
God,
first,
yes.
someone said it was a Tony Stark. I went, no, he's not a Tony Stark. He's a Howard.
No, he's a Howard. Oh my God, can we just talk about how amazing Owen Wilson was in this, by the way?
He was brilliant.
Ant said it's Owen Wilson playing Owen Wilson, and we both looked at each other and went, "That's okay," because this is he was brilliant. That chemistry between Tom Hiddleston and him was on the same level as the chemistry that Chris Hemsworth and him have when they're working together. That spark between the two of them, it was so amazing to watch. I want more. I need more of this man. He was so good. so brilliant, and I loved it. Absolutely loved them. Loved it.
But yeah, the whole,
go to next?
but the whole bringing in this, like, say, the female Loki and stuff. I know I stayed away from spoilers as well, so I was quite surprised. I liked the whole shock. The only thing did feel a little bit weird, as you said before, was the whole relationship. But again, it made a little bit.
I was just like, I'm digging it. I don't know if I should be, but I am. I'm getting it. But when Aunt Sora and realized the power she had, he kind of like sat up and he went, "That's Enchantress."
Yeah.
And I was getting no, and he went, "Yeah, I'm telling you that." And then he went online. He was getting, "Yes, it's Enchantress." And I was getting, "Okay, that's interesting." Sophie, her name was Sophie Martian, and God bless this woman. She had just had her baby before filming had started, and she looked phenomenal. And the costume she wore was fitted for and made so she was able to breastfeed between takes.
Yeah.
How awesome is that? I thought that was absolutely unreal. I was like, she is like a real life superhero. Being able to work, feed her child, and have, show that she's not got any energy at all.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, Marvel's trying to play mind games with us again, because what they're trying to say now is she is not signed up for season 2. That's what they're saying, but I'm calling bullshit now. Again, you can play this back when it comes out, season 2. She has to be in that, because that season doesn't work unless she's going to be in something else with Loki. Because I know now it's I don't know if it's been confirmed, but he's going to be in Doctor Strange too.
Well, he's going to have to explain all of this.
Yes.
You see, where we're getting our explanations from is going to be somebody in everybody's eyes who is not trustworthy, even though we know as viewers he's gone through something and he's changed. Because I don't see that version of Loki going back to the way he was, not like what you saw in Ragnarok, because he flipped and flopped between who he, the loyal brother, the deceitful one. You
knew that with the decision he made at the end. That was his turning point. You knew the decision and you could understand the decision, because normally Loki would have went, "Fuck it, no, let's just let's
mess everything up. Go for it."
Yeah, and see what. But yes,
let's just talk for 1 second about Richard E. Grant
as old school Loki. I never thought we would see classic old school comic book outfits in the MCU. I thought they wouldn't work, but he looked amazing.
He was incredible. I could not get enough of him. Because it was the last episode of
when you find out
Nexus event.
Yeah, I think it was episode 3 when they get.
Episode 3, yeah.
When they get zapped and they go, and you realise they're not getting disintegrated, they're getting sent to the end of time.
They're getting sent to the end of time, yes. And he's standing there, I just went, "Oh my God, Richard E. Grant, that's amazing." And then when he was in his little hood and with the crocodile variant of it, come on, that is fucking genius.
And did you see the frog Thor as well?
Yes! Oh, that was Chris Hemsworth too. And when he created, when he started doing his creations at the end to distract who they were, I did not write the name down. Sorry, of who
the beast.
The beast. And I was in tears. And when he went out in a blaze of glory, I was bawling. He was amazing.
I bet Marvel had said that we fucked up killing him off though.
Yep, definitely. I'm gonna say Kid Loki really got on my tit ends. His accent was doing my nutting. Either talk like a child or talk like an Englishman. You make your mind up. Like there's no in between.
But I did like the whole like, what did you do? I killed Thor as a child. So yeah, it was quite interesting.
He was really dark, wasn't he? Yeah. That was really dark, and he said his tone, how he said it, was perfect. the bunker scene was probably one of my favorites because there was so many different variants of Loki there.
And
I did not know where
and
they're all trying to just kill each other.
But again, the things that happen that you don't expect, like Crocodile Loki biting off President Loki's hand and stuff, that was hilarious.
That scream was so funny. I want to see more of that crocodile. I need to see more of that crocodile. I thought he was phenomenal. There was a lot of undertone of the Wizard of Oz throughout all of this.
Yeah.
All of this.
Going to see the wizard.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it came in so many different waves. So when they get to the TVA and we think, oh, this is it, she's going to take out, because you've got the 3 statues at the top, and this is it, Sylvie's going to take them out, and Ant went, no, what's going to happen is it's going to be fake, and there's going to be someone standing behind it.
Yeah.
That's the Wizard of Oz element, but it wasn't. It was when we got to the end of time, and then we got to see the wizard. And it was just brilliant. The undertone of Wizard of Oz flowing throughout all of this series, I thought was really good.
But we'll leave the end bit till last, just because Sean, the little bastard, got us with like a doozy, because I got all excited and started texting who it is and stuff, and he just went, no, it's not who you think. It's not who you think it is. Think it is at this moment. It's going to be. But
it's not. Yes. We'll get in. We'll go to that at the end, because I had that was really where my questioning is with regards to it, because I did feel like I missed a lot. But now I'm talking about it, I don't feel I've missed quite a lot. Yeah. I really enjoyed Hunter B-15. I really enjoyed that woman. There was a couple of actors from what was it called? The Lovecraft series. Because she was in that, and the Man Who Remains, Who Remains, he was in that. But Hunter B-15 is a phenomenal actress. I enjoyed the shit out of her so much. I hope, given where we are at the end, she's going to continue on in it.
Yeah,
I thought she was really good.
But again, it's a TV show that, like a lot of the TV shows we've watched, answered and tied up as everything neatly, so you couldn't say, because going forward you're not going to see a WandaVision season 2, you're not going to see a Winter Soldier and Falcon season 2.
You don't need to.
No, you're going to get Captain America 4, but again, that's a different story. With this, it's left so many stuff, like the female judge, I can't remember her name, where she got given
Ravonna Renslayer.
Yeah, she's got told something, and she went somewhere. We don't know where. So
she knows more than what she leads on, and she was totally fine finding out she was a variant.
Yeah,
totally fine. So the whole premise of the TVA is that it's all fake. They are meant to be the timekeepers, and you see that. When Loki pinches the Tesseract, that is him breaking a timeline. They basically go in and put that right. They let the Avengers have the pass on them breaking time rules, because they allowed that to happen, because they knew that Steve Rogers was going to go back and put the timeline correct again. So they were okay with that happening. But everything else, if a timeline is going to be changed in some way, they go in and they correct it. And you basically find out that it is a load of horseshit. Every person who works in there, they all think they were just created to work in there, when you actually find out they are a variant. And they had a life, and they had that life taken away from them.
Yep. In the same way Sylvie was when she was a kid, and say Loki was after he stole the Tesseract. So again, I don't know if they're going to use like mind manipulation or something like that, or explain it how, because that still hasn't been explained, how they got the memories taken away. Yeah,
there's a lot of questions that need, because is it called pruned?
Yes.
When they get taken out of their timeline and put into the TVA, because I know she said that Sylvie says to Loki later on in the series, I got pruned well before, as a child. Everything that I've been doing is leading up to this moment. You need to give me a minute.
Yeah.
I just hope Morbius gets to go on his jet ski by the end of season 2. Like, I just want nothing but the best for that man.
I've still got to call him Howard, so he's not Morbius anymore, it's just Howard.
That is absolutely genius. I never even thought of that. Miss Minutes played more of a part than what we actually thought.
Mm-hmm.
She was laying the groundwork with Loki about the destruction of the timelines that led up to the last episode in episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
She was drilling it in him because she was asking him questions, and he was saying, you know, what happens if the timeline gets broken, and he was giving an answer, and she was going, that's, you know, she was wanting more of an elaboration. She was basically laying the groundwork for the last episode when they were given a choice.
Yeah.
To tell him how bad it would be if the timelines broke off into a multiverse, and he wasn't really paying attention to her. She played more of a part than what we actually thought. And Tara Strong, amazing choice. I am so glad they used her in the right way for the MCU.
Yeah. As a voiceover, yeah. No,
as a voice character.
So, moving on through, because like I say, we've talked about the other Lokis, like the boastful Loki was a bit, like I say, it wasn't in it too much, but it'll be interesting to see which Lokis did actually survive and are going to be used going forward. I don't think we've seen the last of Boy Loki or Crocodile Loki, because I think Crocodile Loki is going to be used throughout time now. But leading into the big bad, which we've been waiting for since they announced after Thanos who was going to be taking over. I know he was announced for Ant-Man and Wasp, the Quantum Mania, it's called. That Kang the Conqueror is going to be in it. And when I saw the actor when they were going through, because they did the big whole reveal at the castle, which was beautifully done, absolutely stunning showcase. And you saw him sitting there, and my heart went, yes, it is Kang, because I was thinking it was going to be possibly another variant of Loki, or like I had all these thoughts.
Yeah. No, sorry. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah. So as you said, I thought with Marvel, are they going to do the obvious? Because like the most obvious thing would have been getting to the end, and there would have been a variant of Loki there sitting on the throne, and he caused it all. That would have been interesting but predictable. And I know when we go through time and they say the end of time, there was always going to be like a variant. Well, apparently a variant of Kang. Because I texted Sean and said it's fucking Kang the Conqueror, and he went, no, it's not. It's Immortus. He sent. I've never heard that name, so I did look it up. It is basically Kang's final form or something like that in the future.
Yes, it's the end of time Kang. So he explained it perfectly that there was one, and then there's variants of the one, and they're all fighting amongst. Oh, I've just knocked my mic. And they were all fighting amongst each other. So we did, but I never picked up that he said Kang or Conqueror. I never heard him see it. I might have been talking over the top of it, or doing or not concentrating, but I never heard it. So when I went online after the episode, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's Kang the Conqueror!" I was like, "Where? Like, where was that said?"
Well, he didn't
so
say.
He
didn't say Kang, but he said Conqueror twice.
He said it twice, but he explained it perfectly. Now that I have got my head around it, he did explain it perfectly that that is the final form of the variant of Kang. And I thought that was fucking genius, but I had to go back over a lot of things because I did not get that the first time round.
Well, to be honest, I didn't. I just got excited saying they're doing Kang the Conqueror, and I know they've been rumoured for years, just because, to be fair, he is an X-Men villain more than anything else. Fantastic Four, sorry.
Fantastic Four. One of his first appearances was fighting the Fantastic Four. Then I don't know from then onwards. Was he a relative of one of the X-Men though? Was it Jean Grey and Scott Summers like a distant relative, or am I totally I generally don't know. He's not a character that I'm totally overly familiar with. Obviously, I know the name, and I'm going to keep it that way. I'm going to keep it, and I am going to follow the MCU timeline, and I am not going to delve into the comics because there is so many versions of the character of Kang throughout the time of Marvel Comics. I'm really gutted in myself that I never heard Kang.
Oh, but
so upset.
Because he says, when he said it, he went, they've been called many things. I think it was like ruler, and then he went conqueror.
I know, I didn't hear it.
But he did. But when he said it, he went, done like a little eyebrow thing as well. So,
I know why I didn't hear it now because he says, I've been known by many names. And I started doing the speech from the Mighty Boosh.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I've gone by very many names.
But yeah, I missed it. I missed it.
Now I know why I didn't hear it.
Yeah, but I missed it. But Sean called it. So Sean, you little bastard, I'll give you your credit and your due today, sir. You got one over me here.
Yeah. Can we just talk about the beginning of the last episode? Right at the beginning, the credits we haven't even started, and the credits are coming up, and it's the green Marvel sign, and we get Captain Peggy's song played as a background where you hear the whole of the MCU going through it. How beautiful was that put together? That was stunning. And the last person to talk, and I didn't pick this up until I rewatched when I was watching stuff this morning on YouTube. The last person to talk is Caecilius from Doctor Strange. Right. And he basically, it's not a foreshadowing, but he's letting you know time is the biggest villain of them all. And it's his speech that he gives to Doctor Strange when he says that time is the biggest villain. And that is basically setting the tone for the whole episode leading up to the end. And when I watched it, I was like, fuck, that changes. Like, that totally changes how great that episode actually was. I thought it was great to start with. That just made it even better. I wasn't paying attention to him because I was more crying over the fact that Peggy and Cap's song was playing.
Tell you what I can't wait for, though, how pissed off Steve Strange is going to be to try and sort this mess out.
Oh my gosh.
Because he's got to fix everything that Wanda fucked up, and now he's got to fix everything that basically Loki tried to, again, he didn't do anything too wrong, he just tried to play normal, but that whole ending where basically they don't recognise him, they think he's just someone from admin. I think it's going to be quite entertaining because he's now got to build that relationship with Owen Wilson up again. I don't know
I think that will be very easy because I think there was just an instant connection to start with. He never asked who he was. He never looked out of place with them. It was like he did ask who he was, but it wasn't like an initial shock thing. Like I think they have such a natural chemistry that he's going to be fine in that department. It does open. It opens everything up to possibilities, and this is what I meant by Black Widow. It don't matter no more
because of all them strings. All them strings are going. You don't know who's going to be where. Is Steve going to come back? Is Tony still alive?
Exactly.
Is it going to be 17 Spider-Mans in the next Spider-Man film?
It's just opened the possibilities up. It's given a chance to explain Fantastic Four, the X-Men. It's allowing us now to not have to have the likes of a Captain Marvel film to explain a character because we don't need to. We have a multiverse, and this is what Marvel are very famous for: is their multiverse.
Yeah. All it needs to do is, say, have one of the characters, say, going down a dark alley, then all they hear is Schnick and see some adamant. But the rumours are as well, Hugh Jackman's back, so that'll be...
I heard that, and I would be very pleased because I think it will be a very hard casting to get someone who has such a look for the character to start with.
Yeah.
Regardless of the fact that he's played him for over 10 years, that's really nothing. But the fact that he has the look, That's probably the hardest part when it comes to casting.
It must be hard for you, Jack, because he must be proud of playing Wolverine. And again, this is not a knock. Well, it is a knock on the X-Men films, because some of them are brilliant. But when you look back on the legacy of the X-Men films, there's not a great legacy, and it wasn't ended on a high note. I know for him it was with Logan, but Dark Phoenix, like I said, was a poor film. And again, it didn't get any, like, it went from high, low to dreadful to better, getting there, than just
getting there, then back down again. There's never been a consistency, but this is what I absolutely love about your Chris Evanses, Robbie Downey Jr. and Hugh Jackman. They took a character that a lot of actors always strive for to be the best actor they can, to be the Laurence Olivier's and the Oliver Stones of the acting world, and getting characters like this can almost be a little bit underneath them, and they just, it's just a cash cow, it's just a job. They didn't make it like that. They were very passionate, they were passionate and loyal, really loyal, and Hugh Jackman has done that from day one. Regardless, how many times could he have bowed out of playing that character, but because he had a loyalty, a love, and respect for the character, for the industry within comic book, because he really helped create it. We wouldn't have what we have if you don't have the exactly, and he really did help pave the path for it. And this is what I love. I hate seeing actors in comic book films who do it for a money grab. And Brie Larson almost has that in her. She doesn't show the same compassion and loyalty and love and respect like your Robert Downey Jr.'s and Chris Evans and Hemsworth. They all have a respect for what they're doing. And Hugh Jackman was no different. And I would be so happy, even if it was just one part of him in that, because he's getting on. You can't keep up with that kind of regime to get himself in that physical peak anymore. Yeah,
but that's the thing, though. I don't need to see too many Wolverine films in the MCU. I can just see him in one, but then carry on with the X-Men. There's that many X-Men characters that need their time to shine, which haven't had that place, because Wolverine's been the prominent member. But to have Wolverine as Hugh Jackman in the MCU would be something special. But again, as you said, with all the branches and stuff, things that we're going to get, because now the Eternals make sense, because when the Eternals...
Oh my God, yes.
Because all through the years, the Eternals have just sat back and watched. Now it understands why they're coming into it and decide it's now up to them to step in and try and make a change, which again works for me.
It's going to be. I think the next year of films is going to be a bit awkward, because we were meant to get them before Loki came out. This has always been Loki's runtime. So I think the films beforehand are going to be slightly like Shang-Chi. I don't think that's going to have anything to do with the multiverse in there whatsoever. There might be some hints to it. Spider-Man. Potentially.
Oh no, Spider-Man's
at the end of the year.
Spider-Man's got big elements of the multiverse, because
that's right at the end of the year, isn't it?
So I think Spider-Man was meant to be coming out around about now, or round about. So But again, I'm not too worried about, like I say, that aspect too much. The thing I'm looking forward to more is basically, now we've got a path. Now we know what's going to happen, and see these things happen. Like, now I understand how Blade's going to come into it. Now I can see where before I was like, oh, but my biggest always concern about introducing new characters or new big teams was basically, where the fuck were you during Infinity War? Where the fuck were you in Endgame? Now I understand it makes sense, and again I can get on board with that. So it builds that excitement, because after Endgame, I'll be honest, it killed a little bit of excitement, because you thought everything now is just going to be an afterthought, but now it's not.
Yeah, everyone said you're not going to get the Infinity Saga again, but we are.
Yeah,
we are now, and it's going to help massively with Black Panther and bringing Killmonger back. Yeah, and it's gonna have such an impact and a help, because they are definitely not recasting him.
Can't.
They're not recasting that character.
It would be wrong to do it. Yeah, so. Yeah.
But now they don't need to.
No.
Without any explanation.
No.
They don't need to, and it works out brilliantly.
Because now in this timeline, it could be Shuri as Black Panther. That was the chosen one.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's just opened the possibilities way up. I just hope at some point Galactus comes in to try and munch some worlds up. I just need to see that. I want to see the X-Men, but I don't just want to see the typical X-Men. I want to see some different characters, not Dazzler. I want to see something different. I don't want to see your typical normal Jean Grey, Cyclops. Do you know what I mean? I want something new.
I wouldn't mind saying Cyclops being prominent rather than being just this shitty. Because Cyclops is an amazing character. Like, he's a leader, but we've not seen him be a leader.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing Storm being as badass as she is in the comics, because I know, like, say, seeing things like, say, Halle Berry did a good thing, but she wasn't given enough. Like, Storm should be the biggest badass in the X-Men universe. She controls the weather.
Yeah, I think she's going to be in Black Panther too. Mm-hmm. And this is the saddest part of it. We would have, if Chadwick, it didn't pass away, mm-hmm. we would have seen the wedding of Storm and Black Panther. And obviously we're not going to see that now, but she is going to be in Black Panther too. And I just want to see Mohawk, flying,
badass Storm,
white hair, badass Storm, ripping up Wakanda. I need to see that. But I do want to see some, like, not B-class players, but just some different X-Men.
Prime's example, Deadpool. Not a big, like, say, fair enough, in comic book world, he is a big character, but real world, not many people would have known him if, like, say, if Ryan Reynolds didn't get involved. And he is now bigger than the X-Men. That is the biggest space film. And seeing Deadpool in the MCU is going to blow a lot of people's minds. And if they keep it the same too,
they're going to keep him X-rated. He's still going to, because they brought Star into Disney Plus, they can still keep him X-rated, because you can't tone down that character. You cannot. It does not work. And again, Ryan Reynolds is another example of a person who took it seriously and didn't mock us and didn't take the piss out of us. He's the reason you have Deadpool in the first place.
He leaked the footage.
He leaked it. That footage that you saw of Wade on the bridge, he basically said in an interview, there was 7 people in a room, 1 person leaked it, and I'm not telling you who it was. And then he went, it was me. There was 7 people, he says, there was people sat in a room, we all toed and froed, should we just put it out there, because no studio was taking them seriously. Nobody wanted it. And the minute it went online and everyone saw that suit, it was that suit. It wasn't him. It was the suit, because now they were taking it seriously. Now they're not going to do the fact that Deadpool was this zipped up, mutant-y looking, like bald-headed, don't know what that was, but they were taking it seriously. That's what got it off the ground. I am so looking forward to seeing him writ into the MCU. I think it's going to be perfect. I really need to stop kicking my table. I'm hurting my knees.
I just hope that, like, say, as you said, if the rumours are true, like, say, bringing Daredevil into the MCU, bringing the Punisher, Jessica Jones is meant to be in the new She-Hulk as well. So we are getting
that makes sense.
We are getting the interesting characters now that possibly Disney were scared to do. But seeing, like, say, Deadpool, I wouldn't mind seeing, like I said, Punisher versus Deadpool, or Punisher hunting Spider-Man. I want
to see more Punisher.
Yes,
I really do, because I thought his series alone was okay, but what I loved more was him with Deadpool. The second series, the first part with him and Deadpool at each other, bloody Daredevil, I absolutely loved. John Bernthal was made for that role.
Yeah.
Absolutely made for it. Jessica Jones in She-Hulk makes sense because Hellcat, I can't think of our character's name, but she is best friends with Jennifer.
Yeah.
So that makes total sense. I'm not a big fan of Jessica Jones. I'm not even a comics I cannot get away with. The series was only good because of David Tennant.
And he's meant to be getting brought back as well in some way.
Yeah, that is just amazing.
But again, this is all speculation, but if anything does come to fruition, like I say, it is a bright future. And like I say, Marvel TV now is giving us what Marvel films were giving us a long time ago. And again, I know we went off topic there, but Loki out of the three, like I say, again, I loved WandaVision. I was on the fence with Winter Soldier. I'm still not a great lover, but this was amazing. I'm all in, and again, it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting some kind of time travel heists, Quantum Leap style, like I said at the start. Loki fixing rights and wrongs, and especially when you saw the good DB Cooper reference as well, which was
genius.
So funny to do when it was like just a bet between him and Thor. But it just shows that him and Thor have been fucking around with, like say, Earth for longer than we're expected. But
yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed the and he looked so much like DB Cooper's picture. That was spooky, and that was genius as well. But do you know what though? Because we didn't get what we wanted in WandaVision, I think we were very, very skeptical on what we were getting in this, and we should have known, because it was to do with time, something with the multiverse was going to come out of it. But because we were so like we got everything we wanted from WandaVision, all of our speculations that didn't come true.
Yeah.
And we probably thought the same with this. But how could we not? It had something to do with time. Yeah,
but the thing is, though, with Loki, I did not see or guess where any of it was going. Not from one episode to the other.
That's true.
Like, as you said, with the time traveling element, it was so open to interpretation. I could have named a million things. I know, like I say, there was rumours out that Kang the Conqueror was going to be in it, but not in the way that we expected, which again was perfect. And again, I'm excited. I'm excited now for the next phase, which I didn't think would happen. Yes, but that's my take on that. Yes.
Yep. I don't even think we need to do a score out of 5. No, it's 5 from me.
Yeah. Again, almost perfect. I know. Yeah. Like I say, I probably would have wanted a bit more answers, but again, season 2, so can't complain.
Exactly.
I would be pissed off if it said season 1 and done, like they're done with the others. But
we knew it, but you knew WandaVision. We kind of needed it because we knew at the time Doctor Strange in the Multiverse. So we kind of thought with WandaVision, one series is fine because it helps us get to there. I never thought Loki was going to be what really got us to there. Yeah. But the Falcon and Winter Soldier, you could have done in one episode because you were literally getting one character from point A to point B. Yeah. And we didn't need the series as it was.
I would have preferred it as a film. I probably would have enjoyed it as a film more.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. The reason the series is for WandaVision and Loki, for me, brilliant, is because we get the time with them. I was really freaked out by Tom Hiddleston playing Loki because we've only ever seen him as one note. And to see him be something completely different and evolving in front of your eyes, it was almost not uncomfortable, it was just weird to see it. Some of his tones and the fact that when he talked to Sylvie, he brought his tone right down, and it was heartfelt. And that's something you don't see from him, so it kind of freaked us out a bit. I was like, what am I watching? Who am I watching? And what have you done with Loki? Oh God, I keep saying it.
But yes, like I say, can't recommend it enough. Like I say, one of the bright sparks of things I've watched during the whole lockdown situation. Now we are coming on the outside of it, so it was quite a fitting end. But yeah, like I say, I loved it. So
big
yes.
thumbs up from me.
Cool. So yes, anything else you want to add to
No,
the Loki talk?
I think that was it. So yep, that's a review of Black Widow and Loki. Two very different, opinions on the takes on the both of them. But I think we had the same attitude though. Like I don't think we didn't argue. That's a good sign.
It's one of them things. We never argue because, like I say, we both respect each other's opinions. It's not like say where I would ever call you out bullshit, anything like that. It's not that. But yes. But
unless we're talking about Grease 1 or Grease 2.
which I did get a message off Emma saying that you were completely wrong with Grease 2.
I got a message off Emma saying you're off your fucking tree. Thinking Grease 1, Grease 2 was better than Grease 1.
Yeah, and I also got wrong for choosing Rocky Horror Picture Show. She said I was a disgrace, but yes.
She didn't. She agreed with the rest. She said Jennifer's Body was a great choice. But yeah, when it came to the Grease, I just got a message. When was it? Last Monday, saying you're off your fucking tree.
Hopefully we'll get Emma on soon to give us her opinion. But yes, so just to recap, like I say, we might split this one up in two, so in part 1 and part 2, depending on how long it comes out. Just to like I say, thing. But again, if you listened, if you thought we'd talk shit, if you agree, let us know.
Let us know. Get in the comments, get on Facebook, let us know. We like to have conversations with people.
Certainly, like I say, the Facebook group's still thriving. Join us at Nerdy Up North community on Facebook. Like I say, just search us. We are quite nice and let most people in, as long as you answer the questions. Also, as well, like I say, find us on Instagram. Just search Nerdy Up North. Like I say, just share most of the pictures that a lot of people do send us and stuff. It's quite fun. But like I say, again, if you follow us on YouTube, please like, comment, like I say, subscribe. We're on Spotify and iTunes. Again, like I say, if you've subscribed to us, and Sam knows iTunes better than me, so I'll let her give that one away.
So with iTunes, the algorithm is if we have more 5-star and reviews, it gets picked up more so people can see it. So if you can, anyone from the Facebook page can just be a kind-hearted soul and just go and write us a 5-star review. That would be grand. It just helps people get in contact, it helps people see us, helps people get a part of the community, join the Facebook page, helps us grow. We got a lovely comment on the last video for the fact that we were wearing joint Jurassic Park t-shirts last week.
Purely accidental.
So please, we can't thank anyone enough for downloading our episodes and watching us on YouTube, but we do want to grow this. We absolutely love doing it. We want to get more people on. We want to get more involved. So if you can, please help us out. YouTube, iTunes, Spotify.
Good. And again, like I say, I hope you've enjoyed. Like I say, same bat time, same bat channel. Next week, hopefully, like I say, we'll come back to the top 5s, and then, like I said, we might even look at changing the format as well to discuss, just have random conversations about nerdy things as well. So, but we'll again see you soon.
Yep. Stay nerdy, everyone. Bye.
Bye.